When it comes to adapting beloved universes from tabletop to screen, few challenges are as daunting or as passionately anticipated as Warhammer 40,000. But if there's one man bold enough to take on the monumental task of building a cinematic universe out of a complex, lore-heavy IP, it's Henry Cavill. The British actor, best known for playing Superman and Geralt of Rivia, isn't just stepping in front of the camera this time. He's stepping behind the curtain too, serving as both star and executive producer of the upcoming Warhammer 40,000 franchise under Amazon Studios. That's a hefty role, especially given how intricate and niche the source material is. Yet Cavill seems unfazed. In fact, he's enjoying it. It is a tricky IP, and a very complex IP, and that's what I love about it, Cavill told Esquire in a recent interview. For anyone unfamiliar with the source material, Warhammer 40,000 isn't your typical sci-fi universe. It's decades deep in dark, dystopian lore, teeming with warring factions, superhuman soldiers, godlike beings, cosmic horrors, and a setting so vast it spans entire galaxies. It's a brutal world where war never ends and hope is a rare commodity. Translating that into live-action film and television. Not exactly plug-and-play. The Amazon Games Workshop deal, announced late last year, confirmed what fans had long suspected. Henry Cavill wasn't just a casual fan. He's been a die-hard Warhammer enthusiast for years. This isn't just a paycheck gig for him, it's personal. In an earlier Instagram post following the deal, Cavill mentioned he'd been working away in concept rooms, breaking down approaches to the enormity and magnificence of the Warhammer world. He talked about sifting through lore, studying old texts, and collaborating closely with teams at both Amazon and Games Workshop. And yet, for all the excitement, he made it clear, this isn't going to happen overnight. That starting place shall for now remain a secret, Cavill teased. Watch this space though, more to come in time. The biggest hurdle in front of Cavill and Amazon Studios? Striking the right tone for two very different audiences. On one hand, you've got the longtime Warhammer 40k loyalists, fans who've spent years poring over rulebooks, novels, codices, and miniatures. They demand accuracy, depth, and respect for the lore. On the other hand, you've got the general public, most of whom have never heard of a Primarch or the Chaos Gods. For the universe to be sustainable as a franchise, it has to bring in new viewers without alienating the diehards. That's where Cavill's deep fandom may serve as a bridge. As someone who understands the source material inside and out, yet also has experience leading massive mainstream franchises, he may be the ideal conduit between these two audiences. The challenge is putting this on the page in a way that does justice to the complexity, that trickiness, and that nuance, Cavill explained. It's a challenge I'm enjoying enormously. Let's take a step back and examine what exactly makes Warhammer 40k such a monumental challenge to adapt. 1. Lore spanning thousands of years, the storyline stretches across tens of millennia, involving galactic empires, sentient machines, ancient gods, and warp-traveling chaos. 2. Dozens of factions, from the Imperium of Man and Space Marines to the Eldar, Tyranids, Necrons, and Chaos Legions, the setting is crowded with distinct ideologically unique characters and races. 3. Contradictory storylines. Years of publications have led to lore inconsistencies. What's canon? What's not? Sorting it all out is a writer's minefield. 4. Philosophical themes. This isn't your typical good versus evil setup. The universe deals with moral ambiguity, fascism, religion, dystopia, and survivalism. 5. Visual scale. Warhammer battles aren't small. We're talking planetary sieges, interstellar wars, and battleships the size of cities. How do you portray all that on screen without breaking the budget? Simply put, this is no Marvel or Star Wars clone. It's something else entirely. Back in 2021, during an interview with IGN, Cavill expressed interest in portraying a Primarch, one of the genetically engineered sons of the Emperor of Mankind, or a Captain General, a high-ranking warrior monk and battlefield commander. Both would allow Cavill to flex not only his physical presence, but also the gravitas he's built through his roles in The Witcher and Man of Steel. However, so far, the specifics of his on-screen character have been kept tightly under wraps. That secrecy has only added to the hype. It's worth noting that Games Workshop has already cautioned fans, don't expect a trailer or teaser anytime soon. They're taking their time building this universe from the ground up. And while there's understandable impatience in some corners of the fandom, there's also a sense of relief. Rushing such a beloved IP could doom it from the start. In the meantime, fans can keep their excitement alive with games like Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 and the animated project under Amazon's Secret Level anthology. Cavill's dream project is shaping up to be one of the most ambitious adaptations in sci-fi fantasy history. With Amazon's backing and Cavill's fandom steering the direction, there's a lot riding on this cinematic universe, but also a lot of potential. There's never been a live-action Warhammer universe on screen. This is uncharted territory. And while Cavill's passion is clearly a driving force, it remains to be seen whether passion alone can translate into a cohesive, compelling cinematic saga. This isn't just another franchise reboot or comic book adaptation. It's potentially the beginning of a whole new era for science fiction storytelling, one that leans into darkness, complexity, and philosophical gray areas. But what if it doesn't land? What if the very lore that makes Warhammer so beloved turns out to be its biggest obstacle? And on the flip side, what if Cavill succeeds? What if he creates the next big cinematic universe, one that rivals the MCU and Star Wars, but with its own savage, brutal identity? Do you think Henry Cavill is the right person to lead the Warhammer 40,000 cinematic universe? Would you rather they take their time and get it right, or do you think Amazon should push to release something sooner? How should the filmmakers approach the lore? Simplify for newcomers or go all in for authenticity? Will they manage to do justice to the immense complexity of Warhammer 40K without alienating newcomers? Will the franchise get the time it needs to breathe and unfold, or will commercial pressure force it into a rushed debut? Only time will tell. Would you prefer they take their time to ensure accuracy, or are you itching to see something released as soon as possible? What factions, characters, or story arcs would you love to see featured in the first film or series? Let's talk in the comments below.